Oh hey, it's Sabrina. Long time no see. I know it's been a while since I filmed a video, but I've been dealing with still healing from my C-section incision. And my baby has kind of gone through a few ouchies, I guess you could say. So it's been a little rough here in the little rough here in this household. So anyway, I wanted to bring you a tag. I haven't done a tag in a really long time, and I thought it was about time that I share one with you. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and get started. So if you can't tell by the title, this is the Netflix book tag. First question is, recently watched the last book that you finished. The last book that I finished was Little Women by, I think it's Louisa May Alcott. I hope that's correct, because if it's not, I'm gonna be real embarrassed. But I just finished this book last month and I really enjoyed it. It wasn't my favorite book. Like, I know it's really like a really popular book in the booktube world, but I don't know, it's not my favorite classic, I guess you could say. I mean, I enjoyed it. I gave it 3 stars, but I just don't know if I love it enough to read it again, if that makes sense. Question number 2 is top picks, a book that's been recommended to you based off of other books that you've already read. So the book that was suggested to me was The Subtle Art of Not Giving an F, and this was actually suggested to me by my husband. He read this maybe about a year ago because he was having a lot of stuff go on at work and it was really stressing him out. And so he could tell that, like, with my anxiety and depression and being a new mom, that this was a book that I would greatly benefit from. And I do love self-help books. So at some point I'm going to get to it because we do own it on Audible. The third question is, recently added, what is the last book that you bought? And for me, that book is Good Moms Have Scary Thoughts. And this is a book that is obviously self-help, and it's for new moms or just moms that are struggling with anxiety and depression. I bought this actually a few months ago. It was recommended to me by one of my girlfriends who suffered from severe postpartum anxiety. And she had a really hard time with it with her first baby. And since she got pregnant with her second one, I just felt like really comfortable to be able to talk to her about some of the things she's going through. And she suggested this book, and I'm about halfway through, and I'm really enjoying it because it has a statistic in there that says like 90% of moms or new moms have scary thoughts about like harming themselves or harming their children. And it's not necessarily like, oh, I want to murder my kid. It's things like, oh, I miss my old life, or, you know, like, what if I'm a bad mom, or what if I just leave this kid and have somebody else raise him, or, you know, just things like that. And so it's really nice to know that I'm not the only one struggling with like scary thoughts, and that it's extremely common, and it does give me a sense of comfort. So if you know someone that could benefit from this book, I would highly recommend it. It wasn't very expensive. I got it off Amazon. Question number 4 is popular on Netflix books that everyone already knows about. So I decided to pick 2. One's a standalone and then the other is a series. And I'm going to go ahead and start with the series, and that's Throne of Glass. This is a extremely popular series written by Sarah J. Maas, and I actually do own the first book in a few different formats, but I haven't read it. And then I do plan on reading it, by the way. And then the second book I wanted to mention was Perks of Being a Wallflower by Stephen Chbosky. This is a very popular movie and book, and I love both with every fiber of my being. They're both like my top favorite books and movies, at least in my top 5. So if you haven't, checked out Throne of Glass or Perks, I would highly recommend you doing that. Question number 5 is comedies, a funny book. For me, that is Mindy Kaling's Is Everybody Hanging Out Without Me? I just love Mindy. I think she's super funny. I love her show, The Mindy Project. I think she just has a great sense of humor, and she totally inspires me to, you know, be myself and be hilarious and be unapologetically me. And I just love her. I think her book is so good, and she has 2 of them out. I can't remember what the second one's called, but Definitely a good nonfiction read. Question number 6 is dramas. Name a character who is dramatic. I think this goes without saying. Clary Frey from The Mortal Instruments. She is honestly so frustrating. Like, if I had to describe her in one word, it would just be infuriating. I think she does have a lot of good qualities, so this isn't me bashing her, but I think she's just so stubborn and like kind of selfish. And granted, she is a teenager, so it's typical behavior of a teenager, but I just think that she's so dramatic, one of the more dramatic characters that I've ever read about. Question number 7 is animated. Name a book with cartoons on the cover. And I don't know if this one that I chose technically counts, but I'm gonna go with The Hate You Give. So this is actually not a book that I have read. I have seen the movie and I really enjoyed it. I do plan on reading the book at some point just to see how it differs from the movie, but it's not at the top of my list. So if you think I should read it sooner, let me know in the comments down below. Okay, question number 8 is watch it again. Name a series that you would like to reread. And for me, that would actually be a, wow, I'm blanking. A trilogy, and that is The Infernal Devices by Cassandra Clare. I've read them a couple times and I just really miss that world. It's been years since I've read anything from Cassandra Clare, so I really need to do a reread because I have a Jamie and I want to call him Jim, maybe, I don't know. Question number 9 is documentaries. Name a nonfiction book, and the one that I'm going to go with is The 5 Love Languages. I can't remember who the author is. I'll put a photo up, but I think it's by Gary something, and I am not exaggerating when I say that this book truly saved my marriage. My husband and I have been together for 10 years, and there has been a couple times where we went through some rough patches, like extremely rough, where we thought about separating. And I mean, when it came down to it, it was all about communication. And I think that this book is great for any relationship you could have, whether it's a mother-daughter relationship, a sibling relationship, a romantic relationship, even a friendship. If you struggle with communicating with somebody in your life, read this book, try to figure out what their love language is, figure out what your love language is, and I promise that it will improve how you communicate and it'll improve the relationship. I'm not saying it's going to fix all your problems, but it's definitely a good read, and I think it really applies to most people and it'll benefit anybody who reads it. Question number 10 is action and adventure. Name an action-packed book, and I'm going to go with a series, and that series is called Outlander by Diana Gabaldon. I've only read the first book, but I've seen the whole show and I just love Outlander so much. It's pretty high up there with Game of Thrones. There's a lot of action and adventure in this book because it involves time traveling, it involves America, it involves Scotland, it involves like war and love and lust and all these crazy things. And so even if you're not a big romance person, which I don't really read romances, you're still gonna like Outlander because it's just so sweet. Like, I can't even describe it, but you have to read Outlander. Let me know if any of you want to buddy read it with me because I'm gonna start book 2 soon. And the last question is new releases. Name a book that just came out that you can't wait to read, or name a book that's gonna be released soon that you can't wait to read. And I'm gonna go ahead with Chain of Gold, even though I haven't read Lady Midnight or what's the other one? Anyway, I haven't read the books that come before Chain of Gold. However, anything Cassandra Clare puts out, I love and I will read. So I'm really excited to get to Chain of Gold at some point in my life. Hopefully before my son turns 18 years old, that would be great. I know I can be a little dramatic, but anyways, that is the Netflix book tag. I really hoped you enjoyed this video. Let me know what you've been up to during this crazy pandemic and what you've been spending your time while you've been quarantined / self-isolating. I have been working on my mental health and my physical health, trying to take care of my body so that I can like try to heal from my childbirth that occurred almost 1 year ago. I know, crazy. Anyways, that is it. I will talk to you guys very, very soon. And of course, thanks for watching.